Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us here on the Rochester Press Box. Bill Pucko with you. It's been a while. I missed you guys. I mean, I sincerely missed you guys. How you doing, Tariq?
And great, because I want to hear this great story about you actually seeing the Aaron Judge home run. Is that true?
Yeah, it was close. Well, it's easy. They had a doubleheader. I did day-night doubleheader, and I stayed for the day game. I left on the night game, and I missed it for the first at bat.
That's what you get.
That's what I get.
That's what you get.
Sorry.
Karma. That is big-time karma. How are you?
Feeling great. I got to tell you, the whole time you've been gone, every episode has just been us looking at each other going, where's Bill, over and over again. So
And they got the highest ratings of all.
That's not true.
Amerks are back, ready to roll. Eric Bolton on ice, game-worn jersey. Love myself some Eric Bolton, both Sabres and Amerks.
Yeah, just a big season for the Amerks because I thought they finished last year with a lot of momentum.
And you got a lot of young talent in the pipeline. You got so much talent in Buffalo that you got guys that could be playing NHL hockey in Rochester right now. Lawrence Pilot being one of them. Yeah, this is a great season for both franchises.
Let's talk baseball. We got two divergent pairings in the championship series. You got two teams that shouldn't, by their records, be there in the National League, and the two teams that everybody thought would make it in the American.
Yeah, and I'm wearing black for my Mets because their season's over.
Well, we'll have time to talk about that later on.
2 weeks of wearing black. I don't have any more left. All right, so let's get down to it. It's so interesting in baseball how we love the two teams in the American League, went over 100 games, looking forward to it. They hate each other, which is even better. So you're looking forward to that series. We don't know where it is right now as we're taping this. That series is just getting started. But then you go to the National League, and for some strange reason, you can be mad as you want at the Mets. Who's looking at the Dodgers? I don't want to hear anything in 2023 about the Dodgers because they went out just as easily as the Mets did, and all year long is no one's going to stop the Dodgers, no one's going to beat the Dodgers. And where's San Diego? In the National League Series with Philadelphia, who would have thought would have been there as well?
I think that's an issue, and I would bring it to you because the more and more it seems to me, to that point, that the baseball playoffs are looking a lot like the Stanley Cups. That you just don't know. You throw these teams out there. The Dodgers are 20 games better than the Phillies and the Padres, and look who's playing.
Yeah, but you're playing 3 and 5 game series till you get to the NLCS, right? Like, that's the problem there. You don't, in those series, you don't find out who the best team is. And that's fine, right? That's fine. It makes the playoffs more exciting. The baseball has been good. I mean, you look at that Yankees-Guardians Game 5, right? Like, the anticipation building up to it. Will the Guardians be able to come back? Even the Game 4. I do owe an apology to all of the San Diego Padres, because I sat here right after the trade deadline and called them idiots for giving up all that capital, not thinking they'd be able to do it. Also, two mirrored teams in Philly, in San Diego, not only because they were the two last in, they're also teams that have made major personnel moves that people assumed weren't going to work out after just a little while, right? The Dodgers were dead in the water after the suspensions, and Padres and the Dodgers kept surging. How long has Bryce Harper been in Philly for? It's the first time they've made the playoffs after you spend that kind of money, and now all of a sudden, as we tape this, you're 3 games away from the World Series?
And was injured. They still went on the run, came back healthy, and look at where they are now with the 2 big bats for Philly. So it's fun. I mean, they're good to watch. And pitching is taking a step back, sort of, in baseball.
Is this good or bad for the game?
I think it's good. It keeps the drama going. I mean, you had the Yankees-Guardians for a minute there. Maybe in that rain delay, if they played Monday and not that Tuesday, it's a different result in that game. But, I mean, you still have the series stretching, and when it's over, it's over. So, I mean, let's see what happens. You still have your villain, Astros. You still have your Yankees, villain, hero, either way. Villain. And then you've got sort of the, okay, is this team really hot and could win it all just in the last 2 months?
Is there anything worse than sitting 3 hours waiting on a rain delay and then not playing the game?
No.
Besides paying money for a preseason NFL game.
I don't mind doing that. I like preseason. No, I think the only thing worse than sitting through that is realizing you can't make it to the game the next day, because you saw how many empty seats there were in Yankee Stadium Thursday with a 4:05 first pitch, man. Can you imagine not being there to watch the Yankees win it the way that they did because you had to work and you took the night off the day before?
And a pitching change, too, that might not have been the brightest idea from Monday into Tuesday.
What are they saying? I felt so bad watching. The ball didn't even go in play before he got pulled. Walk, strikeout, home run, gone.
Yep.
You want to make picks?
What do I want or what do I think?
What do you think?
I'm thinking Houston because I just can't bet on the Yankees. I have no idea. You know what? Let's go Philadelphia, Houston World Series.
Philly Yankees, the season's been too magical for New York for them to lose in the way that they would have to Houston again.
Yeah, but boy, Cleveland didn't belong in the same field with them. And
I just want the Yankees.
5 games. 5 games.
Yeah.
Rock the baby.
I just want the Yankee fans just to complain about Houston all over again for another 3 months. That's all.
And then get swept. This is the Rochester Press Box talking Buffalo Bills next. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. Time for the Buffalo Bills segment, one of our favorites. Buffalo Bills segment is brought to you by Ralph Honda for 3 generations and celebrating 50 years as New York's first and oldest Honda dealer. Visit Ralph Honda today and find out how we do Honda right at ralphhonda.com. Well, it's time to, on the bye week, evaluate what you've seen so far, my friend.
What's not to love? Like, you want to pick apart this team and say, they need to improve on this, improve on that. You can talk about red zone offense. That's been a bit of a problem, but you don't need a great red zone offense when you're scoring from 40 yards out consistently on single plays. You can talk about the Bills' running game, but I know it's only one game against Kansas City. Devin Singletary had, 70-something yards in the first half, and they decided to go away from it in the second. You're getting Tre'Davious White back with a decimated defense that is still statistically one of the best, if not the best in the NFL. Where's the weakness? I'm being sincere. Where is the weakness?
Why don't you just say they're the best team in football?
I think they are the best team in football.
Well, I believe they are the best team in football. And I know Philly fans are like, oh, no, come on, Eagles, whatever. Let's go to the game that they lost, the Miami game, the final decision to drive. A winnable game in and of that. Let's go back to also a game. They were down 17, came back and won, and then took on an old ghost in Kansas City to their building, late game, was able to perform. I think if you look at the rest of their schedule, and I know you have, Duffy, I don't want to look too far ahead. I warned you about Miami. The only warning I would probably have is the Jets because they got a lot of steam going. But do you fear Green Bay? Do you fear anybody else? Do you feel the New England Patriots? I don't fear any. You shouldn't fear anybody except maybe the Bengals if they're trying to fight for a playoff position at the end of the year.
Look, the division scares me just because these coaches know each other so well. Belichick, especially with McDermott, those games are always tight no matter who's good and who's bad, minus the playoff game last year. Yeah, they're the best team in football, and it's not even close. I mean, it's not even close what this Bill, and they've won in every way you can.
Yep.
They're blowing the doors off teams, right? You have the comeback win against Baltimore, which you brought up, which Josh Allen, first one that he's had in a season and a half. The way they beat Kansas City, not only do you have that drive to win the game where Josh Allen is just brilliant. By the way, he's hurdling guys just to hurdle guys now. You know that, right? But you stopped.
Don't you worry about that?
Yes, but you stopped Patrick Mahomes. It's not like you scored on the last play and walked off. You slayed the dragon in every way possible against Kansas City. They have won every single way. Again, what am I to feel uncomfortable about right now?
Because he's got a balanced offense. Come on, give me my credit about running the ball.
Offense.
It is a balanced offense.
Arguably the worst running back run game in the NFL.
But they still are able to get chunks of yardage with their running game.
Well, they did against Kansas City. They hadn't done it.
That's all that matters. Oh my goodness.
But they drift away from it. You know what I said? When Singletary had that I think it was 80 yards in the first half, I was convinced he's not going to get half that in the second half. And it's not going to be because the game dictates it. They just drift away from that.
But I think what's great about it is they establish it early. They're not overusing Allen early on in the game. And then where is he at the end of the game? Fresh legs, fresh arm. He's not going 4 quarters. He might go 3 quarters or 2. But in the second half, the adjustmts are amazing.
Yeah, Ken Dorsey has been unbelievable.
Yeah, we love him.
It's a tale of
even when he's not throwing tablets, which I just love.
He's already eclipsed his tablet budget for the season, so he can't do that again. But no, this team can beat you in so many different ways. And look, I will say it again, you don't need a running game when you are 3rd and 11 on your own 2-yard line, which has happened in back-to-back weeks, by the way, and you manage to either throw a 98-yard touchdown pass, which ties a franchise record, or pick up Josh Allen in the end zone, dodging tacklers to get your 3rd down, which leads to that touchdown.
There's an element of running the clock out on yourself when you do that. You know, my favorite thing about the dynamics of what's happened so far when Kansas City, the Kansas City Buffalo game, is how much respect each team has for the other. And you go back to that golf tournament where Allen and Mahomes are playing together and stuff. It says it isn't hatred; it's total and complete respect that these teams have for each other.
But you know what? As I was watching that Bills game, I'm sitting there, it's 10-10 or whatever the score is. I'm thinking to myself, every Bills fan is going through this anxiety of, oh my goodness, it's going to come down to the final play. Are we going to be on the right side of it? And the Bills were on the right side of this one in the regular season.
Oddly enough, too, Mahomes' his fourth quarter statistics are among the league's worst. Like that interception was like entirely predictable, actually.
But the Bills had one weakness last year, and it was defensive line and pass rush. And they went out and addressed it, and what won them that game on that play, that specific play, was Von Miller beating a double team, Matt Milano rushing up to make that play, and blocking his view to see Taron Johnson make that interception. It was, God, you couldn't paint a more beautiful picture.
They lost a little offense, Bills got more, a little defense, and then that's the difference in the game.
Nice to have a rest on the bye week. Our Bills segment brought to you by Ralph Honda, Like It or Not, is next. Here's the Press Box Trivia question, brought to you by Market View Liquor, where exceptional customer service meets an extensive selection. Jefferson Road at 390.
Whoa! Fall fun and festivals, and a whole lot of pumpkins. Hello again, Mike O'Brien, your getaway guy. My next show will take you to an annual pumpkin festival like none you've ever seen before. Check out The Getaway Guy on Facebook.
Here's the Press Box Trivia answer, brought to you by Market View Liquor, where exceptional customer service meets an extensive selection. Jefferson Road at 390. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us here on the Rochester Press Box. Our Like It or Not segment brought to you by Sport Clips. Where the MVP experience is better than ever, Sport Clips. The pros in men's hair. No appointments are needed. Stop by a Rochester location today. And nice to have these guys on as our sponsors. Like it or not?
Oh, you know what I don't like. You know what I don't like, the Mets
The New York
season.
Mets season.
Ugh.
Look, painted in a positive vein. This guy's won 100 games, and they kept you engaged the whole season. What is...
Well, the reason why is because he knows the last 30 days of the regular season into the playoffs, the Mets basically choked. And the problem with that is that they couldn't get their aces, whether it was either DeGrom, who was kind of dealing with a bit when it comes to the end of the year, he wasn't pitching very well, or whether it was Scherzer, who was totally bad in that playoff game. The Mets let the Braves in. Had they had those extra days off, maybe that divisional series would have been a little bit different, but they didn't, and so now they're out. So this is... it's a collapse in the last 30 days. They played great baseball for about 5.5 months, and then it all fell apart at the end.
When it matters.
I don't believe in them next year. They got to shake a few things up.
Somebody said to me, and this is the perfect description of Mets fans. Mets fans are like dogs that forget going in the car means you're going to the veterinarian.
Yes.
Because you get all excited for a car ride.
Yep.
Oh my God, look at this car ride. We're having such a great time. You get to the end of the car ride, and oh my God, we're at the vet again.
New car, new driver, same location.
Written wisdom, no charge. Hey, we talked about the Emirates, like it or not, what the Buffalo Sabres look like this year.
As we tape this, we're 3 games in. They've won 2 of their first 3. I think they look great. Again, it's going to come down to goaltending. We talked about this with Kevin O'Klubja 2 weeks ago. The forwards look great. Rasmus Dahlin scores a goal in each of his first 3 games. You're getting contributions from guys that have been on this team for a while. JJ Petrarca, holy crap. 2 goals in his first 3 games. And that was the guy coming up from Rochester who you thought might take a second to adjust. If Eric Comrie can hold it together in goal, because Craig Anderson at his age is not going to be able to play the whole season, you're pushing for a playoff spot. And I know we're 3 games in, but that's how much faith I have in this team right now.
The streak has to end someday. Right?
Well, I mean, it's
has to end.
eventually, but it doesn't have to be.
Is it going to be this year?
Probably not.
Nostra Duffy?
Thank you. I would say I would feel more comfortable next year, but I feel way more excited 3 games in than I did opening night, I'll say that.
This is the happiest I've ever seen them. The Bills, the Sabres, the Amherst. I mean, what could go wrong?
Well, there's really nothing to lose with the Sabres.
Yeah, no, he's right. They're taking it worse than it's been.
I Like It or Not segment brought to you by Sport Clips Unfinished Business is next.
The Press Box Stat of the Week is being brought to you by McArdle's Restaurant in Fairport. McArdle's is open 7 days a week with dining available indoors and out, takeout and delivery. Come home to McArdle's.
floated one.
Major League Baseball, led by Rob Manfred, is talking about banning the shift because, guys can't hit anymore because they can't get on base because defenses know where they're going to hit it. Whatever you do, don't ask a batter to change his swing. Don't ask a batter with 2 strikes to maybe change his approach. Just keep swinging as hard as you can, and if you hit it out of the park with that great launch angle, whoo, we got a home run. And if not, you'll hit it into the shift and you'll be out because, don't do anything except, the shift is bad for baseball. Hockey doesn't have enough scoring, they say. Let's throw 2 pucks onto the ice at the same time. See how that works. It makes about as much sense.
I thought we were going to get through a whole show without a get off my lawn moment. We didn't make it.
Although I am on his lawn with him right now.
I am
yelling
too,
at other kids.
actually.
Oh, no, you're not.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us here. Unfinished Business, brought to you by the Genesee Brew House, your beer destination since 2012. Visit the gift shop. Enjoy a tasting at our pilot brewery and at the pub-style restaurant. The Genesee Brew House, sponsors of Unfinished Business. We let Pat start.
We're known as a hockey town when it comes to guys that make the pros, and we actually got a bunch of Rochester guys playing Major League Baseball. Aquinas grad Jameer Jones is a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers. This year is NBA season for Rochester kids. First of all, you got your 2 headliners we'll get to in a sec, but there could be 5 guys from Rochester that suit up to play NBA basketball this year. Thomas Bryant signed a contract with the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, I know they're going through their drama, but he could see legitimate time. He signed a really nice contract with the Wizards before he ended up hurting his knee. He gets a chance to start where he was drafted a couple of years ago. But the guy I'll be watching all year, Isaiah Stewart, Beef Stew, is an Aquinas guy. I don't like Jerry from McQuaid guy. But if you're one of these people that says, I don't like watching the NBA because it's not as tough as it was in the late 80s and early 90s, well, he's the guy that changed it for you. Oh, by the way, he can step back and hit a 3 for you as well. And he's on a team that could do legitimate damage, coming together on a young core that he is a major part of. He's coming into his own right now. Get in on the ground floor on Beef Stew. Oh, by the way, he also tried to kill LeBron James last year, which was one of the best videos I've ever seen in my life. If you don't watch the NBA, do it for the sake of Rochester pride, because I promise you, you're going to enjoy watching all of these guys play.
It's a total waste of time to watch millionaire athletes fight millionaire athletes. Forget Jordan Poole and forget Draymond Green. Give me the NFL owners actually getting into it. Have you seen all the drama that's going on? Daniel Snyder of the Commanders basically saying, I got dirt on everybody, even Roger Goodell and some NFL players. Then you've got Jerry Jones and the owner Bob Kraft from the Patriots. They're going back and forth on whether or not Roger Goodell could get a new contract and how much money he should get and all this other stuff, and don't F with me. And I'm like, whoa, give me the film on that. Nothing better than seeing billionaire elderly men going at it physically. I mean, listen, what else do we have?
Have you ever been truly great at something? Something so obvious that everyone recognized it? For me, it was parallel parking. Admittedly, a diminishing asset, but I am great at it. And that's about as close as I come to being Tom Brady. Still, these are not the greatest of days for the Golden Boy. The Tampa Bay quarterback is 45 years old, and he can't let go of football. And he can't let go of it because he's still great at it. He's so dedicated to the craft that he put his marriage on the line while trying to hold on for one more year. One more shot to add to his collection of brass rings. It is really not for us to try to decide if that's the right or wrong thing to do. The issues are too big and too personal for us to really weigh in. But they are taking a toll. Brady finally looks close to his actual age. His performance has suffered. He's missed wide swaths of time with the team. And on Saturday, chose attending New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft's wedding over a walkthrough prior to the Buccaneers' loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers. While he is still third in the NFL in passing yards, Brady is no longer dealing from a position of invincibility, which is why berating his offensive line in front of the television cameras is a very poor choice. What was once perceived as intensity looks a little desperate. So while we shouldn't weigh in on Tom Brady's personal problems, it is fair to evaluate the impact, and for once, it is not a good look. And that is Unfinished Business, brought to you by the Genesee Brewhouse. I want to ask on what you were saying. Anthony Lamb made the opening day roster of the Golden State Warriors.
It's crazy.
They're playing that culture.
No kidding. Yeah, I mean, for all the guys that are on that roster, for him, with the journey that he's had to make that, it's great. Good for him.
Did he get like a 2-ring championship ring too? Because you see how big that championship ring is?
Oh, how about they're individually numbers of trophies per guy that has the ring. It's not the franchise. They went through and put... It doesn't matter.
Yeah, anyway. Good job, guys. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week with the Rochester Press Box.
I think it's an infinity stone. Have you seen that thing?
Yeah,
it's like...